Charlotte Motor Speedway. Part of 10 Days of Thunder on Fox Sports 1. We're going to set the rest of the field for the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race in the Sprint Showdown. 3 drivers tonight will get into the All-Star Race. 2 will race their way in, and 1 will be your choice by the fan vote, which has just closed. Hope you voted early and voted often for your favorite Sprint Cup driver. New format this year, Darrell. 20 laps, winner gets in. 20 more laps, green flag laps only, and the winner gets in. I like it.
Well, 2 races, 3 winners. That's
Right.
what I like. That doesn't happen every night. So, no, it's simple. I mean, you want to, if you're starting on the front row here, you want to stay up there. You want to win this first segment and then sit in the garage and watch the second segment. That's really the plan for these guys. You know, whether Boyer can jump up there and do it or not, I don't know. You know, we got Biffle up there. We'll just see which one of these guys wants it the most. It's really about who wants it the most.
Larry, other than drive it like you stole it, do you have a plan?
Well, I think these guys do have a plan. I went straight to the garage here, and we finished up with qualifying, and I talked to several crew chiefs. I talked to even Justin Alexander, Paul Menard's crew chief that's on the pole, and I think they all feel like that when we get that caution, if you don't win that first segment, you want to come to pit road and get 4 tires. But I think their fear, they know some guys in the back will stay out, and their biggest fear, that's going to jam up the restart. So there's going to be a lot of juggling, I think, on this strategy.
So what do you want, Darrell, tires or traffic?
Look, I'm a track position guy. I've seen it time and time again. Larry and I will say, well, I think you ought to come get 4 tires. They'll come and get 4 tires. They go nowhere. So I really believe clean air up front. If I'm there, that's where I'm going to stay. I'll take my chances. You're going to have to pass me, and that's pretty hard to do.
Well, this difference of opinion is part of what makes the Sprint Showdown so much fun. I like this. 2 races, 3 winners. As the drivers come out to be introduced to the crowd, we're ready to find out who fills the field for tomorrow night's Sprint All-Star Race.
Time for the Sprint Showdown, where these drivers are out to prove they deserve a shot to race with the best. Who will endure? Who will advance to the All-Star Race? Find out right here, right now, only on Fox Sports 1.
Give us the better part of the next hour. We'll give you 2 races and 3 winners. That's the format of the Sprint Showdown on a beautiful night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The clouds are pretty much gone. Temperature up at 80. A light breeze. Track temp over 100 degrees. Well, let's find out who's going to win it and how, beginning with Matt Yoakum.
Danica Patrick's 3rd showdown appearance. So what's going to be the biggest challenge for you starting in row 4?
Winning. It's the first round of qualifying was okay. We were 4th and just came to the green really bad the last time and didn't have a good 3 and 4 on my time lapse. So, you know, it's just there's good cars out there, and so we're just, you know, we're gonna have to be consistent. I think if we'll have a really consistent car, I think that we'll have a shot. But yeah, I mean, you got to get by 7 cars, and they're all pretty good. So we're just gonna have to. We're going to have a good start, and if there's a restart, we're going to need good ones there, and hope the car is consistent.
3 shots, 2 segments, and the fan vote for Danica Patrick.
Well, Austin Dillon was quickest in practice, and your teammate got to start up front tonight. Can you guys work together at all, or is this just every man for himself?
Well, we're going to do everything we can to get in this first one. You know, we want to win. The first one would be nice to have that fresh breath afterwards and be able to breathe a little bit. But we've got a good car, similar to the 27. We're both pretty competitive in practice today, so I'm looking forward to it. 20 laps is enough to get there.
Austin Dillon, he rolls off 5th.
All right, it's just his 3rd time in a Sprint Cup Series car in a race, and it's the showdown trying to make the All-Star race. So any advice, any bit of advice for, what do we have, 2 20-lap shootout here?
Yeah, none yet. Just go give your best shot. Try to get a win in one of the segments would be great. So try to be smart with our strategy. You know, maybe do something that everybody else doesn't, and try to move forward. Didn't do a very good job qualifying for my guys today, so we'll try to get some track position and try to put ourselves in a good spot.
It'll be fun to watch the 25 at Chase Elliott. He starts 11th.
Thanks, Chase.
Paul Menard's crew chief Justin Alexander told me one item on the agenda was to start up front. They did that by winning the pole. Now you just got to keep your car up there, and it's vital here, especially with how difficult to pass.
Yeah, it's qualifying means everything for these short 20-lap runs. So, yeah, we really good car. Sort of Menard Chevy is fast. I felt better about it in race trim than I did qualifying trim, and sun's going down, track's going to change a little bit, but I feel good about it.
Good luck. 6 pole sitters have won this event.
Well, Greg Biffle's starting on the front row, second. So what's your strategy with things being so tight and it's over before you know it, 45 minutes basically?
Yeah, hold the pedal on the right down, lots of gas. So the car's handling good and, it's stuck to the racetrack really well. I don't know what lane he's going to take, but our car's good, in the upper lane, middle, and the bottom too. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Track position is going to be important. 27's been fast, so we'll wait and see what he does.
All right, he's got to win or go home, basically, and he's finished second. That was his best finish.
I love the way this new Sprint Showdown format validates NASCAR win and you're in premise for making the chase for the Sprint Cup. Drivers who won the All-Star race after competing in what is now the Sprint Showdown include Michael Waltrip, who did it in 1996 for the Wood brothers, Ryan Newman for Team Penske in 2002, and for Ray Evernham, Casey Kane in 2008. So tonight is not to just get into the All-Star race, it's to get yourself in a position to maybe win it.
But there's a little bit of intrigue. When the sun goes down, the track cools off, cars change, things change, anything can happen.
And it's definitely going to be much faster than it was today in practice or qualifying.
From the middle of 3 and 4 to the middle of turns 1 and 2, the track is shaded, and that asphalt temperature is going to begin to come down. We'll be back for the command right after this. "29 drivers are lined up on pit road. In the next 45 minutes, 3 of them are going to become All-Stars.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Brandon Duckworth.
Drivers, start your engines!
From Paul Menard and Greg Biffle on the front row, all the way back to Alex Kennedy and Tanner Berryhill. 29 drivers are all hopeful of a chance to compete on All-Star Night tomorrow night. We'll find out which 3 advance next.
You're watching Fox Sports 1 NASCAR.
Welcome back to 10 Days of Thunder at Charlotte Motor Speedway, carrying you all the way through the Coca-Cola 600 on Memorial Day weekend. These beautiful views courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp. Everything Goodyear learns making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Well, the All-Star Weekend is such a special race, and there are a lot of special rules. Andy Petrie.
Yeah, Mike, it's a special event, and it has a few twists and turns to it. The cars are all the same as far as every week. The rules are the same for the cars, and the first segment is fairly straightforward. It's 20 laps. First one to finish 20 laps is going to be in the All-Star race tomorrow night. But the second segment's a little different. It's going to be all green flag laps. The only ones that are going to count. The caution laps will not count. You can make a pit stop in between the segments and during the last segment, but you will lose your spot if you make that that pit stop. You won't be able to change anything but the normal things they can change on a pit stop. Air pressure, wedge, tires, gas, those sort of things. They can't change springs or shocks or gears or any of that kind of thing. Even if there's a red flag, the guys can work on the cars. That's another rule they're going to kind of waive for this. That if it is a red flag, they can work on the cars. But always some special twists and turns to these kind of events.
Should be fun. Here is the Geico starting grid for the Sprint Showdown. Paul Menard has his first pole in this event. Greg Biffle trying to make his 12th straight All-Star race. David Reagan won this in 2011. Clint Boyer won it last year. Austin Dillon 8th last year. Kyle Larson was 6th. Martin Truex won in 2010 from 20th. Danica Patrick, 3rd Showdown appearance. She was a fan vote winner 2 years ago. Casey Mears has a Charlotte win, and Michael McDowell in his 2nd Showdown. Chase Elliott, his first appearance in this event. Ricky Stenhouse, runner-up last year, transferred into the All-Star race. Sam Hornish, 2009 winner. Justin Allgaier is in this for the first time, as is Trevor Bayne. For Alex Bowman, it's his 2nd go-round. David Gilliland, row 9 in his 9th Showdown. Mike Bliss was the runner-up here in 2005. Last year's fan vote winner was Josh Wise, there with triathlete Landon Castle. Matt DiBenedetto and Jeb Burton, both in their first Showdown. Cole Witt and J.J. Yaley in the 12th row. Then Michael Annette and Jeff Green. Finally, Brendan Gaughan, Alex Kennedy, and Tanner Berryhill.
Yeah, what do you say we get some Clint Boyer wisdom here? Hey, Clint Boyer, CW, you got me, buddy?
Got you, pal.
Look here. Look, this set up perfect for you. It couldn't have played any better right into your hands. The fastest cat here is right in front of you. All you got to do is pass him, and you'll transfer into the All-Star. Right?
Well, I don't know how you figured that I got it better than him, but I do plan on passing his ass as the thing goes green. I'm looking forward to it. Friday night special, under the lights, 20 laps. When it goes on to the $1 million, I plan on being a part of it.
Well, you won this thing last year, so come on, Sparky, get up on the wheel and show me something.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, let's get down to pit road. Matt Yoakum.
Mike Martin Truex Jr. starts 7th. Crew Chief Cole Perman's a little disappointed by that qualifying effort, but he thinks as the temperatures come down, especially in that 2nd segment, you'll see that 78 car come alive. And Martin, he's not concerned about where he's starting. Back in 2010, he started 20th and won this event, and then nearly won the All-Star event, finishing 2nd. Jamie Little.
And young Chase Elliott is racing a Sprint Cup Series car for just the 3rd time in his career. And he has a lot on his plate. He's also racing the Xfinity Series race on Sunday. So after this event tonight, he'll fly to Iowa. If he makes the All-Star race, he'll have to fly back tomorrow afternoon. As for his first Showdown event, he told me he hasn't received any advice. He's on his own tonight. Chris Neville.
Well, for Kyle Larson, it's all about controlling your own destiny. If he wins, he advances. He doesn't want to worry about the fan vote. But the problem is he isn't that confident in the race car. Segment 1, it's all about retaining position, then adjusting on the car in pit lane, putting 4 new Goodyear tires on it, and going after the win in segment 2. Mike?
Ready to race in Charlotte. Here's your sprint track description of Charlotte Motor Speedway, which opened in 1960 at 1.5 miles as a quad oval, 24-degree banking, 2,000-foot backstretch, and a beautiful night to go racing. Paul Menard is elected the outside of the front row for the start. 20 laps. Caution laps do count, and this segment could end under caution. No green-white checker to finish the first segment.
What I'll really be anxious to see, Darrell, is when we were practicing in the heat of the day, these drivers were all over that 24 degrees of banking. You're going to have to go where the guy you're trying to pass is not at, so I'll be anxious to see where they run these cars.
Watch this guy right here, that 42 car. He loves the outside, and that's what's going to win this race. The guy that can make the best restart right here. If he can shoot to the outside, get up there and challenge for the lead, that 42 car might be hard to beat.
Keep an eye on Martin Truex. He had a better lap going than the results showed. He'll start 7th. But on his qualifying lap, remember knockout group qualifying, he came up on a slower car, and that held him back a bit. Nothing to hold him back now. Paul Menard, Greg Biffle, Chevy Ford, front row. Here they come. Green flag for the first of 20 laps.
Greg Biffle in that 16, he did not mess around on that restart. He was all over the side of Paul Menard in that 27.
Yeah, he side-drafted off of him right there at start. I think they actually made a little bit of contact. I was surprised to see Biffle be able to grab the lead from the inside.
Biffle, Menard, Reagan, Boyer, teammates side by side for third. Boyer with the advantage on the high side.
What we're going to see here, we talked about it today, is 20 qualifying laps before that caution comes.
Oh, yeah, your tongue will be hanging out at the end of this 20 laps. You don't leave anything on the table. Pack it in hard, get back in the gas, go like a...
Austin Dillon followed Boyer up into fourth place, and he slots down in front of Reagan.
Boy,
then Larson and Truex.
When I said pack it in hard, Menard, I think he forgot to lift, and that really hurt him. He went all the way to the top of the racetrack down in turns 3 and 4. That cost him some time and put Boyer right on his back bumper. But,
whoa, 3 wide, middle of turns 1 and 2, but they're going to get away with it. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Oh, my gosh.
They're still 3 wide. Here comes Chase Elliott in the 25 car.
What a move by Elliott.
It was.
Moves up to 9th.
Darrell, they're trying to drive these things in deep, and it's like they just won't stick it, won't take it.
Yeah, well, the track's still got a good bit of heat in it, and so that maybe the grip level's not quite as high as they expected it to be. But I'm going to tell you right now, you get out front and you don't look back. You run those 20 laps as hard as you can go, and you can transfer. This has got to be exciting, Larry, for Greg Biffle and Roush Fenway in general, because they have struggled with their cars this year, and that thing looks pretty good today.
Their shop is just about 2 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway, adjacent to Concord Airport. Would be a great night for something good to happen for this team.
Yeah, and just think about it. Who would you tell? Who would you like to tell? Go out there and run me 20 qualifying laps. How many drivers can do that? Greg Biffle would be one of them.
10th place, Casey Mears on the outside of Danica Patrick.
Remember, Mike, we don't need a good finish. We don't need a good points night. We need a win. That's all it's about. Win and you're in.
Trevor Bayne caught a bit of the wall with his number 6 Ford. And this battle continues to rage for 10th.
Well, the battle for every position is important, because what that's doing, that's helping the crew chief and the engineers set up the strategy they want to utilize at that lap 20 caution.
Mike, Larry, one thing I see, that 16 car is starting to push. I just saw him go up the hill in turn 3 and 4, and that really allowed Paul Menard to close that gap ever so slightly, but he is making a little progress in catching the 16 car.
That's what half a second looks like at the speeds they run at Charlotte Motor Speedway. First to second, 6/10 now, another 6/10 back to third. Boy.
But Darrell, I talked to Matt Pusha, Greg Biffle's crew chief, and he was concerned after lap 15. He said up to about 15, we got a pretty good rocket, but it starts to go away after lap 15.
Perfect. That's just perfect. He's got good enough lead right there. If she goes away a little bit those last 5 laps, he should be able to hang on. I thought Menard was closing, but all of a sudden Biffle's pulled out.
Yeah, just the opposite, Darrell. Biffle has now increased his lead to a full second, while Boyer has closed right up on Paul Menard.
Yeah, and it's now the 27 car. You can see him going up the hill, Paul Menard, and that's opening the door for Clint Boyer to get through. Boyer, we know he's got a pretty good car. I don't know if he can get up there and race Biffle or not. We'll have to wait and see.
He definitely, up until the point that he caught Paul Menard, he was turning some faster lap times than Greg Biffle, our leader.
Yeah, he gets by Menard right here. That's huge. Now the question is, can he chase down that 16 car? Got a pretty good gap if he does.
Mike Bliss has taken his car to the garage. Chase Elliott picks up another spot, moves to 8th. Landon Castle, the biggest mover, up 4. Chase Elliott and Ricky Stenhouse have each passed 3 cars.
I tell you one thing, Larry, Mike, nothing is bugging that 16 car right now. He is going somewhere. He's cutting the best laps of anybody out there. He just ran a 29.25 versus a 35 on Boyer, so he's got a little bit in the bank.
Third place is going to become a battle. As Austin Dillon drops to the inside, makes that pass. Let's have a look at our Ford EcoBoost track facts for tonight. Last showdown win for Ford, David Reagan in 2011. Greg Biffle has been in the showdown twice, finished top 5 both times, and trying to continue the Roush string of a Roush Ford in the All-Star race every year since 1990. And you basically, you know what Clint Boyer is saying. You just run on out there, big boy, in that 16 and win this one, because I got the second best car. I'll win the next one. Meanwhile, pole sitter Paul Menard got back past the number 3, trying to hold his ground, Matt.
Mike still 3 seconds back of the leader. Paul saying that the 27 car is just too tight. His spotter, former USAC national champion Stevie Reeves, told him, back up your corner to try to help the balance through the corner. See if that will help take some of the tightness out.
Man, that's exactly what I saw. He's overdriving the corner, getting the car to push up the hill. Needs to back off a little earlier, and I think he's figured that out.
Yeah, he made an adjustment in about the time Austin Dillon caught him, and now he's got about a 2-car length gap. But what Austin Dillon did the last time through 1 and 2, he ran the high line, and look how much he gained on him down that back straightaway. There's Greg Biffle. Clint Boyer 1.3 seconds back. Boyer 3.6 to Menard.
That time by Mike, Greg Biffle ran a 29.53. Boyer ran a 29.54. So nothing changed. But we saw Menard's car fast enough to win the pole, not fast enough to run 14 laps near the front. How long will Greg Biffle's car stay as good as it is? Well, all he has to do is about 6 more laps. And I think with the lead he has, unless something really goes the wrong direction, he should be in good shape. Jamie?
Well, you have Greg Biffle with a car that falls off after about 9 or 10 laps, and then you have Clint Boyer, who said all day long his car didn't have good fire-off speed, but he was really happy with how consistent it is. It really doesn't fall off. Right now, the only feedback he's given to his team is tight center off.
Yeah, and so if he falls off a little bit, guess what? Everybody else is going to fall off a little bit too, and so it's pretty much no gain on Boyer's part, which right now Boyer is about a 10th slower than Biffle at this point in the run. 5 to go in segment 1.
And Darrell, I think this is why the feeling was about 4 tires at the caution. In 15 laps, they've already lost over a second on the stopwatch, and the track is starting to cool down. And so it's still losing a lot of time.
Yeah, 28.50 was Biffle's fast lap. His last time by 29.68, just a little over a second.
And the gap is constant, 1.5, 1.6. And the leader at the end of 20 laps is done for the night and goes to the All-Star race.
He can watch the second 20 laps. But I really think if I'm Clint Boyer, I'm pretty happy about this. I've got the second best car. Get Biffle out of my way, and if my car runs like this in the second 20, I should be able to transfer.
All right, they lap past Michael Lynette, who is 3 down, and Canterbury Hill, who's just gone 1 lap down in the 66. 3 to go in segment 1. Now, we talked about Martin Truex. Where did he go? 7th place.
Yeah, he never moved.
Nope.
He started 7th, and that's where he's been.
Right behind Kyle Larson, who started 6th and runs 6th. Now, as part of the special rules, the pits close with a couple of laps to go in each segment.
And the reason they do that is to keep someone from jumping on pit road before the caution and manipulating the system of what the intent is.
That's the Frankie Stoddard rule. Right. Yes. That happened here a few years ago with Jeff Burton. And somebody said, wow, I never thought of that.
So 2 to go in segment 1.
Flag right here. This next car went to Bell 2. He's 30 back.
1 to go, and Greg Biffle, that car has not lost even a 1/10 of a second of its advantage over second place Clint Boyer.
No, the pace is slowed. He's at a 29.96 that time by. So the pace is slowed, but so is Boyer. Boyer's at a 29.98, so they're falling off at the same rate.
So the gap stays constant at 1.6. Greg Biffle will transfer to his 12th All-Star race. Second time he's had to transfer in. And it puts a Roush Fenway Ford into the All-Star race for the 16th straight year.
And Mike, I know it's a small victory. Greg Biffle has 19 career Sprint Cup Series wins, but he's not been to victory lane in almost 2 years.
Awesome job right here. Awesome job. Come on.
Well, you know what I say, Larry? Picked a fine night to pick up a win.
Let me fix things. 26 straight All-Star appearances for Roush Fenway Racing because of what Greg Biffle just did.
That's amazing.
Kept that string alive, 1990 to now.
Good stuff.
So Greg Biffle and Jack Roush, happy and relieved. Hey. That was a Cheshire Cat grin for the Cat in the Hat.
Well, we haven't seen a smile like that on Jack Roush's face at the track this year for sure.
Well, it's been roughly a year since he's been to victory lane. Carl Edwards at Sonoma in the Sprint Cup Series last June.
Yeah, Jack's, I think he's had a couple of new hats since the last time he went to Victory Circle.
And the gap stayed constant throughout the final 6 or so laps. Right at 1.6 seconds back to Clint Boyer. Now pit road is closed, but Greg Biffle will be allowed to go to the garage. And he is done for the night. He's in the All-Star race.
Guys, well done.
Sprint will cut your rate plan in half. Bring them your Verizon or AT&T bill and your old phone. And they'll cut your rate plan in half at a Sprint retail store or at sprint.com/half price. Greg Biffle is the segment 1 winner of the Sprint Showdown. He's in the All-Star race.
Well, to me, 2 big keys where he qualifying on the front row, and then the start of that race.
He was ready. When that green flag came out, he was ready to go.
Took the lead from Paul Menard right on the initial start. Might have been just a tiny bit of contact between the two here in the quad oval before they raced off into turn number 1. Biffle never looked back and led all 20 laps of the first segment.
I think it's fair to say it's taken those guys 11 weeks to figure out this new aero package, new engine package. But tonight and over here this weekend, these cars, particularly that 16, looks pretty racy.
There are your results at the top of the page. Now, if you pit, you give up your track position.
I just believe it's going to be 4 tires for everybody. But remember, Chase Elliott said we'll have to do something maybe different than what others do.
What's Paul Menard thinking?
Sorry, guys. We got together on the start. I don't know if it knocked a fender in, but it's really tight center exit. Hard to believe that shock did that while I jump up and inside the track bar. If I go any more and it gets loose into 3, I can't do my arc.
Pit road is open, Matt.
Mike, that's one area they're going to look at is that left side of the 27 car. You can see a donut right around the 27 number. Wedge adjustment plan trying to free up that 27 machine, Gene.
Remember, Matt, last year, the 15 at Clint Boyer, he took 4 tires on this segment, and he ended up winning the race. 4-tire stop here, air pressure adjustment, Chris.
Austin Dillon was able to run up on his teammate, Paul Menard, but once he got there, the 3 car just way too tight. Going to try and free him up in 4 tires on this stop.
Well, it looks like the Gamblers was Martin Truex Jr. in that 78 car, and we had a couple of others that looked like they went with just 2 tires. There you see them right there.
Yeah.
Truex's tough night continues. He was slowed exiting by the 33 entering. The Cat in the Hat wins segment 1. Greg Biffle.
Tonight on
driver's already transferred in. He's with Chris Neville.
And he led right from the start. Congratulations, Greg. You are in the big show tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be able to race for $1 million tomorrow night. Get this Ortho Home Defense Ford Fusion up there. Kind of exciting on the start, but it worked out. I want to say hi to Jackie up at the mountains. Not doing so good. We hope you get better, and want to say hi to him at home. I'm excited to be in the big show.
Congratulations, Mike.
Greg Biffle is in the All-Star race tomorrow night. Now, the two drivers who will restart on the front row, David Reagan and Martin Truex Jr., are both past winners of the showdown.
This could get exciting. You got a couple of cars, 3 up, 4 up there with 2 tires, and some cars with 4 tires. That's going to be kind of interesting. See how that works out.
Pace car is in. Toyota Chevy on the front row. Here we go for 20 more. Green flag laps only. Allgaier way up on the outside. Can't gain a lot of ground.
No, but a great start by Truex. He timed that perfectly. Looked like if he can get out front, he might have something for these boys. There's that 42 car of Larson.
Clint Boyer fourth, going for third against his teammate.
Down on the inside, he's able to get by the 55 pretty easy.
Martin Truex Jr. leads them across on the first of 20 green flag laps. Matt, what did they do to that car?
Mike, in the first segment, his biggest hindrance was traffic. The car was just way too tight in traffic. So they made the biggest change of all, just right side tires to get in track position. No changes on the 78.
It's kind of what I saw. He started 7th, he stayed 7th. He couldn't go anywhere. It just didn't look like he needed clean air to be able to really make some moves. And he didn't have it, but he got it now, and he's walking the dog right now.
Yeah,
Whoa,
trouble turn 4, car around and into the grass, sliding along, and that's the 23.
Let it roll.
Of J.J. Yaley.
Pit road. Tickets.
Got a little tap as they were coming out of turn 4 there.
Yaley was running 18th.
A caution flag was not what Martin Truex Jr. wanted to see.
Not at all. But I will say this. He nailed that first start, and if he does it again, he should be okay. It looks like when that 78 gets out front, that Cole Pern car runs pretty good in clean air.
Car gets away from Yaley. Cole Witt and Michael McDowell avoid. Now I'm wondering, being curious, not skeptical, neither Kyle Larson nor Martin Truex went forward or backward in that first 20 laps. Part of the plan, maybe?
Well, that said it. You know, my theory was let the fast guy win the first segment, and the other guy, everybody else seemed to be pretty equal. So get the fast guy out of the way, which would Biffle, and we can settle it amongst ourselves.
But if your plan was to change just right side tires, yeah, don't abuse the lefts.
There you go.
So that even in a 20-lap race, and we're running it like qualifying laps, you still have strategy. You don't just throw the notebook down and say forget about it, we just go out here and race. Crew chief's got to be on his game. And that first 20 laps went by like qualifying, I can tell you that.
That went by in a hurry for J.J. Yaley.
That car was flying down through that grass. Whew.
I tell you whose car looked really good there right after that restart. Now, it's early. They're on fresh tires, but Paul Menard looked like he could drive that thing down in there and the thing would stick. They must have gotten that fender straightened out.
Yeah, I think so. Well, his car was too tight, and it wouldn't turn down here in 3 and 4. I'm sure they made some adjustment for that, but the other car that looked good was Boyer, and Boyer's down on that inside right there. He might be able to go somewhere.
Well, they're going to have to because they're 3rd and 4th. Pit road is open. No takers near the front of the field. Let's have a look at the 27, Paul Menard, as he gets a little antsy, coming up on David Reagan's 55.
He's right on his bumper right there and just trying to find somewhere to go and trying to make some room, and he did. He pushed him around just enough to get by him.
Yeah, Menard had a run, and it looked like Austin Dillon had to lift to not be a part of whatever was going to happen between the 55 and 27.
Menard said, look, it's a 20-lapper. It's no time to be playing around. No Mr. Nice Guy. I got to go somewhere.
Yeah, so on this restart, Clint Boyer will be on the inside, and the 15, Paul Menard, and the 27 will be on the outside of row 2.
Sprint wants to cut your rate plan in half. There's your 2010 Showdown winner. Just bring your Verizon or AT&T bill and your old phone to any Sprint retail store or sprint.com/half price and cut your rate plan in half.
You know, Mike, Darrell, I think when possibly Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Pearn's strategy changed, to Mike's point earlier, is when they had the little hiccup on qualifying. When they qualified 7th, I think they felt like, you know what, we'll see what we can get, but going from 7th to 1st in 20 laps, that's going to be a pretty vertical mountain.
Yeah, I think you're right, Larry. I think what they did is say, just hold what you got. He started 7th, he finished 7th. So he didn't go forward, he didn't go backward. They just kind of sat right there, and I'm sure that Cole Pearn said, you know, when we come to the caution, we'll fix you up, buddy.
There's Cole. And again, that's the beauty of this format. Winning is all that matters. You win the first segment, you're in. You win the second segment, you're in. And even though Dale Earnhardt Jr. tweeted, vote for Martin, and he is one of the 5 leading vote getters as of yesterday, well, that's no guarantee. The vote closed at 7 p.m. tonight. There's Dale Jr. in the T-shirt looking on. Now, whoever wins the fan vote, if they win one of these 2 segments, then it doesn't matter. It will go to the next highest vote getter. It is the highest vote-getting driver not yet in the All-Star race that gets the fan vote pass.
So there's a chance we possibly won't even know who really got the most votes. But the bottom line is whoever got the most votes that did win one of the segments.
That's all that matters. Chris, how about that second-place car?
Well, obviously, he wasn't very happy with that car today. I said earlier he was a little bit worried what it was going to be like in segment 1. It was way too tight, but they took a big swing at it, made some big adjustments on that last stop. Also got some track position with just 2 tires. So now Kyle Larson thinks he has something for this fight.
Well, the 2 tires must have worked for Truex and Larson because the last completed lap, lap 22, only green flag laps count, were their fastest laps of this entire race, as it was for Sam Hornish and for Trevor Bayne. Of course, all of this is just the prelude to tomorrow night, Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night.
Tomorrow, the stars align under the lights as the best of the best put their pride on the line at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the All-Star Race. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox Sports 1.
$1 million to win, and hardly anybody remembers who finishes second. Tomorrow night on Fox Sports 1.
You know, everybody always talks about clean air, and I know it's important. But I also think that when there's nobody in your way, nobody in front of you, you can drive a lot better lap. You can run where you want to. You can focus, concentrate better. So I think it's a combination of things. Clean air helps the car a little bit, but it helps the driver as well when there's nobody around him or in his way, and he can go where he wants to and run his perfect lap.
Now, on the initial start of the race, Paul Menard elected the outside, lost the lead to Greg Biffle. For this restart, Martin Truex is on the inside.
Yeah, we got to watch these restarts. I'm telling you, when you get a few laps on your tires, you come down here, it's easy to spin the tires on this front straightaway right here. It happens all the time, so you better have them cleaned up and ready to go. That's what they always would, Hammond always remind. Clean them up, spin them, shake the car around a little bit, be sure you're good to go.
All right, those caution laps did not count. We have 18 to go as the Toyota Camry pace car goes to pit road. 2 Chevrolets on the front row. Truex and Larson, here we go.
Boy, keep an eye on Boyer and Menard. Kyle Larson got a great restart in that 42.
He did. He almost got too good a restart. He was just a little ahead of Boyer, but not much.
Hornish goes way to the outside this time. Trying to gain some ground. He had a run 2 by 2 by 3 as they come off turn 2.
Drag race down the back. Let's see who's got the most horsepower. That usually shows up on the straightaway. Whoa, side by side, tight racing right there. That car on the inside is bad to get loose when somebody's on your door like that.
Stenhouse looking to the inside, looking to gain 3 spots.
Oh, and
Boyer giving a push.
Give me some room. Coming through.
Here we go.
I'm on my way. I'm going somewhere.
3 wide for the lead. How about that?
But look,
it's
at
not
Larson.
over yet, buddy.
He keeps fighting back there. Still 3 wide.
It's not over yet. That's 78 up the middle. Who's gonna lift? Somebody's got to lift.
Boyer eased out early and got back to the throttle, Darrell.
I think it really paid off because he's going to get the lead right here, but it ain't over yet.
Nope, Truex coming right back. Larson holds the high side. Truex faded to the top, went right down to the white line.
Boy, Truex wanted to dive underneath that 15 car, but he couldn't make it work. Had to get out of the gas, cost him some spots.
He's going to drop back as Larson had the big run around the outside, and now the log jam is right there behind Truex.
Yeah, Sam Hornish Jr. in the 9, he got a good run, but there was nowhere to go.
They got all bottled up over there in turn 3. Right now, though, Truex really lost it all down here when he had to get out of the gas. That cost him a couple of spots.
Menard fought his way through to 3rd. Truex now 4th, Hornish 5th.
Well, with 4 tires on that 15 car, I think you might say adios.
All I know is they're strung out now, but I think that's the best racing we've seen all year long right there for those few laps.
Yep, put that one on the highlight reel.
When you run a 20-lap heat race, Larry, you get that kind of racing. Maybe not for 20 laps, but for a few. Yeah, Boyer's putting down some pretty good laps right now. His fast lap 28.6. That last time by 28.7.
For 2nd place, Paul Menard moves through. Now he's got 1.1 seconds to make up.
Watch old Boyer. He said it's like a heat race, like a Friday night special.
Well, that'll be our 5-hour energy big move of the race. 3 wide. And prevailing to take the lead.
Do you know what I like, Mike? Boyer knew he didn't need to move all the way up. He left a little bit of room in the middle there for Martin Truex in the 78. Didn't crowd him. Worked out perfect. Right there, I thought Truex might nip him. And look right here going into turn 1. That was almost disastrous.
That was fun to watch. That was definitely a couple of hold-your-breath corners.
But I think the real good move he made was he finally decided, I'm going to roll out early getting into turn 3. I know those other two, they're going to drive it down there till they see Elvis, and I'll just back out early, and then I'll get back to the throttle.
Well, you know, it was good to see Boyer win.
1.25 out back, last 2 laps.
It's good to see Biffle win. Hadn't done anything this year so far much, and now here's the same thing for Boyer. I mean, he's had a kind of a rough go of it, too. Good to see him out front here and somewhat pulling away.
Yeah, he has not seen victory lane since right here at Charlotte in October of 2012.
And his owners, Michael Waltrip and Rob Kaufman, haven't had a lot to smile about this year. They lost one of their primary drivers, Brian Vickers, early in the season. So rebounding, this will be a nice night for them, the way it's running right now. And at 3rd place, Truex, Larson, and Sam Hornish.
That's role reversal there. I figured the 42 would be up there rim riding, 78 would be on the bottom, kind of a bottom feeder, and they've kind of changed spots.
Ricky Stenhouse makes a green flag stop for tires. Let's check out. Oh, boy! Up goes Larson, and he saves it.
What a save.
Whoa!
I think he might have a little damage, but he did do a nice job of hanging on to it.
What he did, he put the block on Sam Hornish Jr., and Sam did not back out.
Don't blame him a bit.
Might lose another spot he does there.
Yeah, he's got
Chase Elliott.
Pretty serious damage on the right rear.
Here's a look.
Yeah, he just comes down in front of Sam. Sam really doesn't have any option. He just clips him a little bit, and he hits that wall pretty good right there.
He was pretty loose. It didn't take much to get him out of the way.
Yeah.
Record 3 and 4. No caution, he saved it.
Nice save. And he'll come down pit road with quite a bit of damage. And with winning being the only thing that matters, Larson's on pit road. Jamie, how about our leader?
Well, you mentioned Clint Boyer. His crew chief, Brian Patty, said they've just been so lost lately. They actually went back to a similar setup that they ran in this race last year. And the car was consistent, but Clint just said it didn't have a whole lot of speed. So you can imagine what a win is going to do in this race if they can pull this off. And by the way, besides the 4 tires they took, they also made a wedge adjustment, and the car was better.
Yeah, and remember, he was talking in our early practice about the engine wasn't running well, that there was some mapping issues that the computer guys were going to have to work through. He's done a lot of work on that car this afternoon in a very short period of time, and it looks pretty racy right now.
If he can close this deal, this would even be a big win for the Toyota camp to win at a mile-and-a-half racetrack.
And they're running pretty much identical lap times here, a 61 to a 55. Not really, Menard's not gaining any, or at least very little.
Brian Patty, his crew chief, he's got his head buried in that monitor.
I'm thinking he doesn't want a caution flag for sure.
In last year's showdown, Boyer restarted first with 4 tires and made the pass for the win on lap 24 and led the final 17 laps. So very similar scenario to this. Good playbook.
And that's what everybody told me this morning in the garage here, Mike, as I was inquiring, what are you thinking? And every one of them said, you know what won the race last year, don't you? 4 tires.
Yeah, and this little bit different right side tire this time. Maybe not quite as durable as what they had last year. Probably required because the lap times do fall off quite a bit after 10, 12 laps.
1.6 seconds. Boyer to Menard. And that gap neither growing nor shrinking very much.
No, they're running the same time, just pretty much lap after lap. Pretty close together. Boyer's just right now hitting his marks and make no mistakes.
But I'll take that 3-wide battle for the lead as some of the most exciting racing that you'll see anywhere throughout the month of May.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a lot of that next Sunday night. Because on those restarts like we saw at Kansas last week, I mean, I couldn't sit down. I couldn't believe what they were doing. 3 and 4 wide and making it.
Now, Kyle Larson back out there 2 laps down. Of course, fresh tires. This just shows you what fresh tires will do for you right there. Darrell, I get a feeling we're going to see a lot of that tomorrow night during that Sprint All-Star race.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same thing.
So, Larry, you all but guaranteed that one of the top 5 yesterday in the fan vote would transfer in.
I believe Clint Boyer was one of them.
I believe he was. Yeah. And we will give you the results of the fan vote tonight. We'll know all 3 drivers that transfer in from the Sprint Showdown.
I'm interested to see if Martin Truex is holding the ace.
White flag, race official. Got to get it back home.
Well, he had the right guy promoting it.
That's why I say I'm interested to see who won that battle. Dale Earnhardt
Slow
Jr.
car ahead of our leader.
Not to worry.
And Berryhill stays aside. And we'll go a lap down. He got a free pass earlier. Off turn 4 and coming to the checkered flag. 4 tires is the winning strategy. Clint Boyer is an all-star tonight.
Thanks, y'all, dude.
Just have him a little sip of water there and relax a little bit. Just another day in the office.
And again, a team that needed something good to happen, like Greg Biffle, Clint Boyer. Well done.
Definitely 2 drivers that needed a win.
Nice job, boys. Way to go.
So segment 1 winner Greg Biffle for Roush Fenway Racing. For Michael Waltrip Racing, Clint Boyer. And your Sprint fan vote winner is Danica Patrick.
Danica Patrick, it's a DW. I have good news, dear.
Copy. What's the good news?
You're going to race tomorrow night. You won the fan vote.
That is great news. I have great fans, and while I really wanted to race my way in for all the right reasons, I'm really grateful for my fans. They helped me out a lot more than just even this. So thank you.
Congratulations, yeah, and tell the boys to work on that car, get you tuned up for tomorrow night, and show them something.
Sir, I look forward to making it better and making it even better for the Coke 600.
10-4.
Danica Patrick crosses the line in 9th, and her fans have voted her in for the Sprint All-Star race. Joining Greg Biffle, Clint Boyer, and the 17 drivers already qualified. They're your 2 segment winners from tonight. We'll be right back. 2 races, 3 winners. Danica Patrick won the fan vote. Greg Biffle won segment 1. And Clint Boyer is the Sprint Showdown winner. Second time in his 4th start. Last year's winner as well. Chris Neville.
And Clint Boyer with a big smile on his face down here, advancing in that second race there. Clint, main thing, 3 wide from his entire lap. How did you do that?
Well, you know, when those guys take 2 tires, I mean, that's just the product of that race. You know, 20-lap dash, you got to go for it. And then we took 4 tires, so I had to go for it on that start. And, you know, I mean, that's what 20-lap dashes are all about, beating and banging and going for it, because you know after the first 4 or 5 laps you get sorted out and it's really hard to pass. But, you know, after the year we've had this, shoot, I felt like going out there and doing a burnout. You know, it's just these guys need a little bit of, you know, anything positive right now, and I'm glad that got a little bit of momentum. The car's really good. It has been since we got here. Stayed free. Yeah, you know, it was obviously clean air. It's just so important. I was watching, you know, Greg out there, and he was just taking off. So I was like, well, I'm done. So I just kind of saved myself for the next one and hoped that I had my opportunity, and we did. So proud of all the guys, like I said, on the 5-hour energy Toyotas. Cherry this week, and I took a little bit of it for that race, and by golly, when I got off in there 3 wide, I needed a little of it.
We'll talk about positive. He's racing for $1 million tomorrow night. Matt?
Danica Patrick impressed by the efforts and the loyalty from her fans voting her in for the 2nd time in 3 years. So what do you need to do this race car to make it a winner tomorrow night?
A fair amount of things, but what I am is super lucky and fortunate that I have such great fans that are going to give me a chance to make the car better. And the way that I want to pay them back is to have a great race and move up through the segments and then ultimately make it better for the Coke 600, the big one. But I mean, there is $1 million on the line, so that's pretty good too. So I'm just very, very fortunate. I have such great fans, and I wanted to race better tonight for sure. But I know there's some things for sure that we can do to make the car better. So let's hope they work.
Good luck, Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Sprint would like to thank you, the loyal fans of NASCAR racing, for tuning in tonight's Sprint Showdown. We'll see you tomorrow night on Fox Sports 1 for the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race. 20 drivers in the field, 3 of whom were set this evening in the showdown. 2 winners and the fan vote. Chris?
And Greg Biffle was the winner of that first segment there. Greg, you got to watch that second segment. Was there anything you could learn from watching those guys?
It was pretty scary watching those guys from where I was standing. They were racing hard for that spot. You know, this is a prestigious race to be in. And, you know, I told Clint he had to race way harder than I did. They were 3 wide and back and forth. So, you know, we're just excited to be in. You know, we worked really hard this season. This was a great car. The guys worked extra hard on it. And hopefully this is some speed that we got coming down the road. You know, we're just lucky to be able to race for $1 million tomorrow night.
Well, get some rest. You're racing tomorrow. Jamie?
It was 3 wide for the lead. I believe you were sideways a couple of times. What was that like for you from the seat?
It was a handful. Just, you know, if we could have got clear of the 42, we may have had a chance. Just, you know, 2 tires against 4 there with the 15 was a tough battle. So I thought our car was decent on clean air. It wasn't what we needed to have to win a race on 2 tires, but it really all goes back to qualifying, you know. Just didn't qualify good enough, had that car pull out in front of us and cost us a bunch of time. So you got to start up front at these short ones and try to keep that track position. It was hard to pass.
All right, Martin Truex Jr. will be back in the car on Thursday, practice for the 600.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, the 20-car field is set for tomorrow night's Sprint All-Star Race. The trucks are coming up. 200 miles of truck racing from Charlotte Motor Speedway coming along in just a few minutes. They are ready with the setup as the trucks roll out. The Camping World Truck Series setup and the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Then Fox Sports Live later this evening. So trucks are next. First, let's check in with John Roberts and NASCAR Race Hub.